the Iranian regime needs the enmity of the United States. It needs the enmity of Israel. We can't carry on without can't carry out without the steel frame of the Republican Guards and without their nuclear program. I have been to Iran a few times and was there last right as the pandemic was starting. So it was in 2020, and it's hard to report in Iran because you get a government minder during the day, and so you just do a lot of boring interviews during the day. But at night, I just could sneak out and go talk to anybody. And it was completely apparent to me that the popular support for the regime was that it was eroding very rapidly. And I mentioned this to one of the employees before I went to a party in Tehran, in North Tehran, which is kind of an affluent area, where a lot of the Republican Guard senior people live. I went to a party and it was an absolutely astonishing scene. I went in, they had pulled down, closed the curtains, they taped up the windows, closed everything, sealed it up, bribed the guards at the end of the street. Women came in mini skirts. There was moonshine. There was music playing really loudly. Like the mullahs could have been a million miles away. But I mean, it was like it was like a parallel society had grown up right next to the Iranian regime. And so, like, God, what happens? What happens when you take away the threat of force, which was ever present when I was there? Like, in fact, I remember the night I came home from that party at like midnight. There were these roadblocks set up by the Basiji, which is the militia, and they were pulling people out of cars and they were checking and it was terrifying. And what happens when that's gone? And I think we might be approaching that moment.
Well, there have been so many movements. I mean, 2009, the Green Movement. I remember doing so much reporting on that when I was at the Wall Street Journal. Then, of course, the Women Life Freedom Movement. Masih Alinejad being a huge voice of that movement here inside the States and being hunted down by the Iranian regime, even here on American soil. But all of these stories of just unbelievably courageous Iranian women taking off their headscarves, openly defying the regime, and some of them being tortured and killed for doing so. You know, it sounds like a naive question to ask, but is there any hope of some kind of regime change here? Maybe another way of putting that is, can the current regime exist